Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays69. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to take a look at the Conway. Now, I previously, a few years ago, did one video with the Conway saying that the bigger gun is much better. Then I retracted that statement saying, do you know what, actually the stock gun is better. It's, you know, stat wise it is much better. I mean, the penetration, yes, it's one less than the big gun on your AP, but your APCR is 122 millimeters more, and your HE, your high explosive, is more. But it's not as fun. I mean, the DPM is actually really good with this gun. Really good. But it's not as fun. It's not as fun playing it recently. The big gun, you know, it's so much more fun. It is a lot more fun. Now, the aim time is not bad for a TD at 3.8. Dispersion, okay, it could be better at 0.362, and it does have only 2,600 DPM, which isn't great considering this gun has over 3,000. That is a big difference, and it has almost a 14-second reload. Now, where this gun falls into place where I enjoy it more is the HE, the HESH. It has 220 millimeters of HE, and that's where this tank is much enjoyable. It does 770 HE damage on your cheap HE, but 670 on your big HE, and that is fun. That is very fun to play, and playing it recently, I've actually been enjoying playing this tank. I enjoy this tank much more than the FE4005. I don't know why. I think it's because it actually has a little bit of armor on the turret. It's not as weak as the FE4005, and of course, because you see tier 8, and when you have the HESH, you can really pump out that damage. I know the DPM is only sort of 2,600, but you're able to HE almost anybody. Even in tier 10, you can HE almost anybody with 220 millimeters, anything from the side, anything from the rear, and a lot of tanks frontally as well that you can penetrate. So if you're just starting out and you're not really that competent as a player, then yeah, I would probably recommend the other gun, because the other gun, I mean, the DPM is much more, the reload is a lot less, so you don't have that long waiting to shoot again. And until you get the feel of the tank, then yes, I would definitely recommend using the other gun. But once you start learning the tank, once you start getting a better player, then 100% this gun here is much more fun. Now, that was the side of E100, 630 roll into him, and you're just backing up. Make sure you've always got cover, make sure you've got your team, and always try, and if you can, get to the side of the tanks. We're going to do it here again with the poor E100. He's just received 1,340 damage just from 2 shots from me. So it is a lot more enjoyable to play. I absolutely love the tank, and I haven't played this tank in such a long time. I played the FE4005, which I just cannot win. And again, there, the side of an IS-8, 735 damage into the side of that guy. It's fun. It really is fun. And if you are used to HESH, I mean, look at this guy. We can pen him anywhere, and that is another 720 damage. Nice and easy damage this is, especially when tanks don't look at you. Now, we are going to push forward for this 50B, and when we're going to get, I mean, I thought that was a fail HE there, but it still does 606 damage. And before you know it, we want to get out of the way of that guy. We don't want him to shoot. It's already a win. I mean, easy win here. There goes the TVP, and it is just the standard B left, who also is nice and juicy. But I'm not going to get there in time to do big damage to him. However, we are going to manage to pick up the kill for him. Now, someone requested that I make another Conway video, because it has been a while since I've made a Conway video, and in all fairness, I haven't played the Conway since last reviewing it, and obviously the last review I did of the tank, it was a it was the review I did to say I was wrong. The other gun is better. Yes, the other gun is better. Stat wise, the other gun is so much better. The DPM, everything about the other gun is better, except for that HESH. And I'm a HESH player. I absolutely love HESH. The FE402 is one of my favorite tanks in the game because of HESH. We have tanks like the Charioteer, one of my favorite tier 8 tanks because of that HESH. And of course the Death Star is my most played tank because of that HESH. And this is no different. I mean, this is no different. It's got HESH, it's got speed, it has that speed boost, it has got a little bit of armor as well, and all in all, it is just I enjoy it. I really enjoy it. And is it a disappointment to go from the Conway to the FE4005? I don't think so. I don't think it's a disappointment, but I do honestly think that the FE is slightly worse than this. It's a bigger tank, it's got a bigger turret and a much weaker turret, and if you're not running the spool liner on the FE4005, then you will get punished for it. Now this guy is just gonna see ya, and that was actually a beautiful ammo rack there. So I think we're just going to skip this because I don't think that's the battle that I was intending to show, but it was still a decent battle. It was still a decent battle. So where are we? Here we are, new battle. Let's watch this one. So even against tier 10, and this is why tier 9 is probably my favorite tier in the game, because yeah, you're coming up against tier 10, but you've got tanks that can handle themselves in tier 10, and the Conway is no exception. The Conway, to me, it can play just as good in a tier 10 than it can in against tier 8. But of course, against tier 8, you do have a lot more juicier targets. And I would honestly, if you haven't played this tank with the HESH gun, with the big gun, most people will play it with the big gun. Most people will play it with the big gun because it's the last gun choice. I mean, people automatically think the last gun choice is the best gun choice, when that is not exactly true. It's not always the best. You have the LTTB. I know it's a completely different tank, but the higher gun is not as good as the lower gun because it has less gun depression. Same pen, everything like that, but it just has less gun depression. And again, the Conway can be like that. I mean, there is no right or wrong of which gun you actually play. It all depends if you like alpha or if you like DPM. Myself, I'm a bit of both, but I love HESH, and that's the swaying point for me to play this gun over the other gun. Yes, the other gun does have HESH, but it basically just has that cheap HESH. And you can see here we can get bounces. We can get bounces on this thing. Can't quite see where he hit. You can see he hit me on the corner there, and that's a grill. That's a grill, and I managed to, at the angles I was at, I managed to bounce that shot from him. Now, if I'm driving an FE4005, I would no way be able to bounce that shot. You can't bounce anything. Excuse me. You can't bounce anything in the FE4005. However, this, you can bounce anything. You can bounce anything from the turret. The turret is actually incredibly troll. You don't think it until you come up against a Conway and you aim at it and you're like, oh, wow, okay, that is actually pretty goddamn strong. And you can see here the guy, the Death Star, that is again with HESH, tried HESHing me, and he only does just over 400 damage. So overall, it's definitely a tank worth playing. If you haven't played the tank, then you must go play the tank because it is a fun tank to play. And just try out the HESH gun. Just try out the HESH gun because it is fun. You can HESH almost everything and anything that comes your way. If you can get behind them or the side of them, even better. But that is, again, that's not a must because you have 220 HE pen. You can pen medium tanks. You can pen light tanks, TDs, even some heavy tanks you can pen from the front. So it's not an absolute must to get behind these tanks, but you do have the speed. You have that speed boost also to get there quicker. So helping your medium tanks is a good thing. You can actually go and help your medium tanks with this tank, and you can just deal a lot of damage if you can get that HESH shell out. So go play it, guys. Go play it with the HESH gun. Go play it with the 120mm, I think it is, or the 120mm. Go play them both and let me know in the comments which gun you actually prefer. I'll be interested to know. While you're at it, make sure you subscribe. Hope you enjoy the video, guys. I'm Meadsy, and I will catch you all soon. Bye-bye. With